It's an AGI price update. Let's get into it. So Chris, today we're going to be taking a cheeky look at AGI. This is Singularity NET, one of those less known projects, but has huge capacity to grow massively during 2021 and beyond. This particular project, we're going to be doing an AGI price update. We'll have a look at the AGI chart against the USD. We'll be having a look at the daily, the 4-hourly, and the hourly views, and we'll be taking a look at some of those technical indicators such as the Fibonacci retracement, the 50 moving average, 100 and 200 moving averages, along with volumes and a relative strength index. We'll be comparing these charts and seeing exactly what is going on here with the AGI price and what we could potentially be expecting in the next few sort of weeks and months, Chris. I think this particular project is incredibly undervalued and has huge potential to the upside. So as we get into this, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with everything we do here, including those hidden gems and new cryptocurrencies, then do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free and you will stay well informed. So why not? And Chris, is there anything else you would like to add before we jump on down to the charts and start reviewing the AGI price update?
Yeah, just let us know in the comments below what you think the price is going to be at the peak of the bull run this year.
Fantastic. Right, let's jump on down and start giving a bit of a price update for AGI.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. So here we are. This is Singularity NET AGI to the USD, and this is the daily chart, and Binance is the data source that we're using here today. Now, in a bit of a recap on when we last looked at this particular project, we had put this green box up here. This was because we had a rally on the 5th of April that put the price quite high. It also followed the next day relatively high. It went all the way to the top here, past our first price target of 48.3 cents. But in doing so, it actually left a box here with a bit of a gap that needed to be closed. We saw that happen, and we did close that gap down on the 7th of April. Since then, we rallied right back up again into that 48.3 cent area. And again, we just back tested on the top end of our box here, and we moved on right back up again. So things are looking pretty good in a kind of textbook move here. We went back down to that box, that gap that was left behind. We rallied up, we back tested on the box, and then we've moved on again. So everything here seems to be working exactly as planned. Let's get into the fresh update now. So as we look at this chart, we have all these candles running and our Fibonacci retracement tool running from the 29th of December through to the high that was achieved here on the 14th of February. And I'm going to just quickly grab, so I seem to have been missing it on this particular chart. I'm going to grab the date range. Actually, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I will grab the date and price range. So from the 29th, from that low through to that high there, right? So that was a 709% move that took 47 days to complete. Okay, so that 47-day period here was then followed by a reasonable kind of sideways trade. And if I go grab that quickly, or do it on the next day here, and we probably had the breakout effectively from, I'm going to say here. So that was a 39-day sideways trade, okay? During that particular correction, because it's a healthy correction, we saw that there are three key areas that we normally take out: the 618, the 50%, or the 382. Now, it can, of course, go down to that lower level here, which is the 23.6, but it is slightly rare. It can happen, but it is rarer than the other three more common ones. And the other one that we can sometimes see is the 702. Again, rare. So those are the two exceptions. Normally speaking, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be trying to pick out the 618, the 50, or the 382. Now, in this particular move, we actually came down and we dropped to the 50% pretty quickly here. And then we dropped down to the 382, and then we found support on the 50 moving average before we got to that 23.6% Fibonacci retracement zone. So there was a potential opportunity here to pull that price much further down, but the 50 moving average was a good area of support. So that was back on the 23rd of February. And it's been doing quite well. So we obviously got that back into that 382 area, back to the 50%, then into the 618, into the 702, trying to get into that 786, which we got over here, and then a slight pullback again down to 618 very briefly before eventually coming right back up into the high areas, breaking that previous high that happened on the 14th of February. And then we got to our box up the top here. We had a slight pullback. We kind of left a bit of a gap. It's a really small gap, but we left one here. We didn't end up closing that. We moved right back up. We rallied up, as I said before, took out that first price target of 48.3 cent. We had the back test in a text box move just down to that into that box, that green box that we drew on the chart. Filled that gap and then rallied straight back out of here. And most recently, we're up in that higher area here on the hourly, on the daily chart. So things in this particular moves, they seem to be doing incredibly well at the moment. And ultimately, this thing we've got in here later than we wanted to, but we thought we had more time with AGI being artificial intelligence and all of that. We thought it would be a bit later to the party. So we didn't have huge bags. We had a reasonable position, still do have a reasonable position that I continue to buy. But yeah, we've seen 1100% gains so far up to that high point there, or the price today. So things have been moving quite well here. The RSI is overbought on this daily chart, okay, and the volumes are also decreasing as a part of that day-on-day activity. Now, big macro view is a decreasing volume, and so we're going to bear that in mind when we have a look at the 4-hourly, which we'll just do that now. We'll just jump down to the 4-hourly chart. And again, you can see how we filled this box area and moved right back up here in that kind of textbook move. And obviously, we can see how the 50 moving average is close to the candles, and that's going to be a key area for support as well. Now, obviously, we can see that it was actually a bit of resistance over here. And that could have been, problematic for a small stent. But we did have the 200 moving average, which was working as support when the 50 wasn't and the 100 wasn't. So looking to see a bit of a 50 moving average support line as this continues to go up with those candles. So I'm going to be watching that closely in the coming weeks. But otherwise, yeah, the volumes are relatively flat. They have been lower, so they're in a pretty good position here. We're not overbought on this 4-hourly chart like we are on the hourly, so that's a good indication. We were briefly overbought here. We had that correction come down to the 47.93 area. And again, being down here, rallied quite nicely. And currently, this is at about 58 on the RSI chart on this 4-hourly. So that's pretty good to see as well. So candles at the moment are fighting to get good support above that first price target of the 48.3. Current price is 49.3. So doing pretty well there, fighting quite strongly, trying to get that into a good area of support. And it definitely seems to be that we're getting a bit of sideways trading here while we correct things, ready for that next step, right? So if we go ahead and pull this into our hourly, and that's going to show us that granular detail. This time we can see those moving averages in a little bit more detail. We can actually see that the 100 moving average is the key one on the hourly chart. We had a kind of a brief breakdown here for it, but most recently it's been acting as a bit of support in the last few hours or so. So that's going to be key to watch. And also we had that 50 moving average just inside those candles with that 200 just being below as well. So there's good support lines coming down here. Now the volumes are not impressive, then they're okay. They're not brilliant. They could have been better and could be better still. There was a brief kind of spike in that middle bit there, but actually it's kind of decreasing on the hours at the moment, and the bigger macro view is a decreasing volume. So we're waiting for those big spikes to really come back in. Now we almost got overbought when we were up here, but we didn't quite get there. Not like the same way that we were over here. Now, the other thing just to point out here is actually we're about 56, so not too dissimilar to that of the 4-hourly chart. So the RSI is in a pretty good spot, lots of room to grow upside, but also lots of room to grow to the downside. Now, if we zoom on out, we can see what normally happens when we hover around the middle here. We do end up kind of spiking back up again. But obviously, you can go in either direction depending on what happens within the market. So we want to be careful. We are, getting support on that 100 moving average. But it doesn't take a lot to break those support levels there. They're not overly strong. And the next one that we can really strongly kind of identify is going to be at around 43 cent there. And then obviously falling right back down towards that area of 38. So if the market does decide to do a deeper correction, then we do know that we'll be looking at a couple of key areas here for support, but above and beyond those moving averages. And the RSI will support a drop towards that kind of 40 or 39-38 cent area, right? So we have to be a little bit cautious with that on the hourly and the 4-hourly. And of course, that daily is overbought. So if there was a steeper correction, there's an opportunity to potentially purchase some more AGI tokens, which is how I would see it. I would see that as an opportunity, not something to be afraid of. If, however, it does turn to be bullish for even more longer, which is even indicated here because the hourly and the 4-hourly is not overbought like the daily, that means that there's potential here for both the hourly and 4-hourly to continue rallying to the upside if that volume comes in and a bullish sentiment is within the market, which I do believe it currently is. So we have, at least in my opinion, more of a chance of going up, but I would like to also see a bit more of a correction. Maybe not a steep one, but a bit more of a correction just to correct that 4-hourly and hourly RSI, just to get that lined up a little bit better for another move to the upside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back up into our hourly view, our daily view here, and then we're going to just take a look at what's going on, right? So we have quite significant position where we currently stand. I'm going to go grab a hold of a price range. So we are now, Chris, just... which is 53% move away from 75.8 cent. That's the second price target for AGI there. So things are definitely starting to heat up here for AGI. So 53% move approximately to the next price target from the current position, which is pretty good. And guys, I'll zoom on out because I think I have got a much bigger plan here for AGI, which you can see with this particular Fibonacci retracement. Now, what this is doing is this is taking it from that all-time high area for AGI, which was $1.86, and plotting it down to that low level that was achieved somewhere down here. I forget the exact date. And then that's showing us where the price targets are likely to go, right? And we do have a top price target up here for AGI that comes in at about $7.87. Okay, so quite a big juicy price target there. That shows us at about 1,500% from the current position. So lots of gains with AGI is still on the table. This thing's incredibly undervalued, huge potential to the upside. And we are literally just kind of accumulating as much as we can at these lower prices. We kind of missed the boat early on. We thought we had more time. We clearly do not have more time. So every time you get these healthy corrections, we do like to accumulate some more AGI tokens. But Chris, anything else you would like to add to this price update before we sign this video off?
Just think it's still super undervalued, even at the price that it is today. And I think it's got so much potential over the long term. I think this is a fantastic project, and I think they've got a fantastic team. And I think it's going to do amazing once it's moved over to Cardano. So super excited about this one. Basically getting into it every week, adding to the bags next. So yeah, it's all good.
Fantastic. Guys, if you found this useful, informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all those hidden gems and new cryptocurrencies, then do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free and you'll stay well informed. So why not? And with that being said, we hope everyone has a fantastic day and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.